Hi, welcome to Fiberchats. My name is Irina. I'm the host here, and my guest today comes from Serbia, Ljubomir Kostin. Hi, Luba.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to my channel. So I love your story because, and I want to thank your wife like ahead of time for bringing you to us, basically, and showing you the way to show your creativity. But tell me that story. Tell me how you started crocheting.
Well, I started crocheting 2 years ago, in November 2 years ago. We were we were online again because I teach in school. And we were online, uh, and one night she's crocheting for 8 years now, and she was nagging me all the time to teach me how to crochet, but I never wanted to learn. And one night I was reading Witcher, fourth book, and it was a bit boring. So I saw her sitting and crocheting, and it came to me, uh, hey, teach me how to crochet. And she didn't believe me at first. Um, I had to repeat it a few times. Then she said, okay, let's see. And what do you want to learn? I want to learn what you do. What are you doing? She was making some toy. I don't know what was at that moment. Uh, and then we began with magic ring. What is magic ring? I didn't know. Uh, I never held the hook and yarn in my hands.
Right.
I will always like to do something with my hands and to make things, but I never did something like that. And that's how it all began.
Well, when you're saying you like to do something with your hands, like what kind of things you've tried before?
Ooh, I'm always doing something. Um, uh, Not necessarily creative, but I was always doing something, making something. I don't know how to explain. Um,
Like
Even
woodworking and stuff?
but something like that. Not woodworking, but something like that.
Right. Well, so you started with this magic ring, right?
Yeah.
Was it immediately easy for you? Was it something like you got right away into, or was it a hard
Um,
thing to learn?
it was very hard. It was very hard thing to learn because I started with 2.5 millimeters hook. It was very small hook and yarn for 2 millimeter hook. It was very small, uh, and I couldn't understand the principle. How can I make magic ring? And when I succeeded in making magic ring, I couldn't accept the principle. What is running stitch? That was very hard for me. Uh, but I worked and worked and worked. I was working for 8 hours a day,
Oh,
every day, until I finished my first toy. It was some kind of bear. I don't have it here. Some kind of bear, and it was really ugly. I'm sorry, I don't have it here. You can check it on my Instagram account. In my first post, it was some orange little bear, full of holes and something like that. But I succeeded after a month, and that was a success for me, big success.
right. Well, I mean, I played in my life. I played with amigurumi a little bit. I've done like a few toys, right? And I can understand how like what you're talking about when you're talking about holes because my first few were very loosely crocheted.
Um,
So how like what was that process of learning for you? Like did you start looking at YouTube? Like how did you went from that one bear to the next project?
and she is the one who taught me. She's the one who almost taught me everything, but the basics of crocheting. Um, Everything else is, I can say, it's self-taught because with every new toy I made, I was constantly thinking, what is wrong with this? What I don't do right? How can I improve this? Why my tension isn't right? Why my stitches are not right? And that was the process, constant process. It is still ongoing process. which I'm finding that trying to achieve that perfection in my toys.
Right. Well, when you do you think like being a teacher had anything to do with that? Do you think like you have a certain mindset about learning and persevering and not giving up?
Well, I don't think that I teach crochet in school. I have 8 children, and I see them that it is hard for them to accept. It is hard for what is it crocheting? Like in knitting, like in every kind of art, in music, um, you have 2 hands. It is very hard to make those hands to do different things. Uh, they can't accept that you hold your hook in one hand, in yarn in the second hand, the other hand, and you must all the time think about what are you doing. I don't think that it has some relation with me teaching, but it has something with. I had 40. I was 40 years old when I started crocheting, for example, uh, and everything before that, everything in my life, what happened before that, everything I learned before that, helped me to be where I am right now.
Right. Do you see yourself being like 80-year-old and still crocheting?
Yes, yes.
Like you think this is gonna stay with you for life now?
I think it will. I think it will. I think that I found something and that I found myself in this because this is something that you can improve constantly. You can make something new every day. Um, I don't like to make the same toy many times over
Right.
because that is the thing we talk about. Uh, you will have some overburn, you will burn out. So
Right.
you will burn out when you repeat the same thing over and over again.
Well, when you come up with the ideas, I know you told me you are an avid reader and you have a huge collection of fantasy books.
Yes,
Do those books influence you as to what you want to create next? Where do you get
um,
your ideas?
I don't. I don't get my ideas from the books. I think I don't, but they are those experience which I have in previous experience, and they help me to get new ideas. I don't know how to explain. When you write something and you write every day, um, in the beginning, it's hard to find that idea what I want to write about. And if you write every day for, I don't know how many days, write every day for a year, every day it is easier for you to come to that idea. I will write about that today. Uh,
Right. Well, when you have your ideas, right? Do you record them? Do you write them down?
no,
Like I'm gonna come back to that and do that next week.
no, that is constantly changing. Um, I start making some toys. I have idea in my head. I want to make that kind of toy, and I want to see if that what I'm making will will I succeed in making something like that. If I succeed in, I want to make yarn do something that it shouldn't be doing, uh, and if I can't succeed, I have to change something. It is basically that same idea, but I have to change a little bit. For example, I have something here.
Sure.
For example, this is something I'm working on. I don't.
Oh, that's so cool.
I hope it's a clever idea.
Well, when I'm thinking about like things that you create, right, and what sort of like caught my attention about you, um, it feels like your head works different from everybody else because you see some image in your head that you want to create, and you somehow know how to break it into parts and where you're going to start and how you're going to do that. Talk to me about your process. Like, tell me exactly how it happens, like step by step.
That's exactly what I do. Sometimes I feel like those crazy scientists. Um, I have that idea in my head, and I have to idea of some toy in my head. I have to take it apart and to see which part I'm going to do first, because that first part will give me the size of the toy. And then when I have all that parts, I have to piece it together like a puzzle. It's a construction problem.
Right.
What can I do, or how can I do it to construct that toy?
Well,
Uh,
you don't do like simple toys either.
uh,
Like you do like the dragon that I saw
yeah,
you make,
this was
or
this
that.
is a very big construction problem, because I had the idea that I want every part of my dolls to be movable, and I had to make every single joint on this doll so it can move whichever way you want.
I don't think I ever seen stuff like this actually. How does it work?
Well, you make single joints and you work around them.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain. There is no plastic parts, for example, in my toys. I have only plastic eyes, for example, and nothing else,
Right.
because it's not safety for children. And I love to think that my toys are functional. Maybe they are piece of art, I don't know, but they are functional. My children are playing with them. They are safe. So there is no plastic parts, and you have I came to idea like from plastic dolls. You have those joints, for example, in your head of a doll, and you have head of a doll around that
Right.
joint. And something I created something like that in every part of my toy.
So with this specific toy, which part did you start with first?
Uh, I think I started with legs. I had to start with legs because uh, joints are inside of the leg. So I had to work around them. Uh, I don't have anything like that here. It's something like a mushroom inside.
Right.
And I have to work around that mushroom and make a joint of that part.
Is it like are those numbers of stitches, are they in your head? Like how do you figure out how many stitches you start with, how many stitches you increase, how flat or how round it's going to be? Like is that something that you don't even have to think about, or you already can figure it, like feel it?
I don't know. Every toy is different. Um, and when I start making, Uh, yes, that's when I decide if I want to make it more flat or more round. If I want to make it flat, I will start with Magic Ring 8, Magic Ring 9, or something like that. Or if I want to make pointy, I don't know, it will be Magic Ring 4, something like that. And then I start working around that. It's something like I start crocheting, I start making. Sometimes I write on paper. These are my new patterns. I have three, three I'm working at this moment. When I start writing those numbers, other numbers just pop in my head. Okay, I have to do that next. I want to change something. I need decrease to go this way. I need to, for example, in my dragon, it was very challenging. I like to challenge myself in everything I do. It was very challenging to achieve legs, for example. I wanted to for them to look that have a specific way, and I don't know how to explain.
Okay, like you're not an artist. You don't sketch it before time, right? You told me that you're not amazing at sketching and drawing.
No.
Um, that I mean, how clear is that image in your head of how you want to make it? Like, is that something you see you look at some reference pictures, or you just have this like super clear image in your head and you know how it's gonna look? Because
Well,
like I'm thinking of like dragon. I wouldn't even know how many toes a dragon is supposed to have. Like, you know.
there is some reference. There is some reference. When I started making dragon, I looked on Google for some pictures, and okay, I like this with that dragon. I like that nozzle. I like those wings. I like, for example, I saw, I don't know when, I saw crocodile stitch, for example. And then, oh, I like that stitch. I want to incorporate that somewhere in some of my toys. And when I was working on Dragon, okay, where I want to make that, I want to use that crocodile stitch. I don't know where I can use it. And it popped in my mind, okay, I will make wings. Then I watched some YouTube video because you have few ways of making crocodile stitch. I found one way that works for me, but I had to work around that
Right.
crocodile stitch to make it work on my toy because most videos I watch are showing how to work around in circles, and then
Right.
I had to work around that to make it my own.
Is it hard for you to write a pattern because you're doing so many things to those toys? Like, is it hard to keep it all documented when you do it?
No, it's not. I'm constantly writing what I'm doing. Uh, it's hard for me to when I have something to finish toys. I don't know how many. I didn't publish, and that's the hard part. I can make toys, but it's hard. After that, it's hard to uh, fine tune that pattern, find testers, and that part with publishing pattern is hard for me. For example,
Right.
that's the process that is hard.
Well, talk to me about it. Like when you first published your first pattern, what was the hardest thing about it?
Well, it took some time. It took some time. It took us 6 months, I think. I finished pattern last year in May, June, something like that. It was a commission. One woman asked my wife if she could make her some kind of hand for her son. She didn't want to accept because she is afraid of
Right.
of something like that. And she asked me if I will try to make it. I said, okay, I will try. I don't have anything to lose with that. And it took me some time. It took me, I think, month and a half to finish it. And but when I finally finished it, it took us 6 months. We published pattern, I think, in December last year,
Right.
something like that, because we didn't know how. It's a learning process. Uh, because I never done something like that. It still is learning process.
Was it hard to find testers? Like,
No, my wife is my tester. It's not hard.
well, now that she's like seeing you do all these things, right? The things that she doesn't even know how to.
She doesn't understand. She doesn't understand.
Well, is she like very impressed by your newfound skills in crochet?
Yes. Uh, she say that I better crocheter than she is. Um, and when she is testing my patterns, she almost always say that she doesn't understand how I even made something like that.
Right.
How I came came to that idea to make it work that way.
Well, you mentioned that when you started first crocheting, you had this 2 millimeter hook and and yarn for that hook. What's your yarn and hook collection looks like nowadays?
Well, I don't have much yarn. Um, we don't have in Serbia. We don't have many. How to say different yarns. I only use two yarn. It's a cotton, some cotton yarn. And that is something like that. It's it's not some quality yarn because it is hard to find some quality yarns in
Right.
Serbia. My hooks are very cheap hooks. I finally managed to order some new hooks from Hobby. I think it's not paid sponsorship. Uh, uh, some Addy and Clover hooks, so that I would have some normal hooks, for
Right.
example.
Do you ever fight over yarn with your wife?
No, uh, no,
It's she's not using the same one.
no. Uh, uh, last year, she's we had baby last November, and she's on
Maternity leave.
maternity leave. So I'm the one who is supplying the yarn.
Right. Well, when you told me that you used to crochet like 6-8 hours a day during the COVID times,
Even now I crochet
same amount of time.
almost same amount of time.
Do you feel like it's affecting your health? Like, do you feel like your hands start hurting, your shoulders start hurting, your neck
No,
start hurting, or are you like very mindful of?
no, because when it starts to hurt, uh, you don't do something how it should be. So uh, just I had to change. Have to if it starts hurting my right hand, I have to change the way I'm crocheting. So it doesn't hurt because when it hurts, then it's something wrong.
Right.
I'm
What's
not doing it
your
right.
what's your plans? Like, where do you see this going? Are you trying to turn it into like full-blown business and leave your teaching career and become full-time crocheter? Like, what's your ambition for this?
Well, I don't know. It's last year was really hectic. I managed to make some, I think, 20 or so toys in the last year. I haven't published half of it. Uh, I want to publish them all. At the moment, my dragon is in the contest, amigurumi.com fantasy contest design. So I hope something from that. I would like to be uh, full. I would like to that to be my full.
Time job.
Yes, but I don't know. We will see. I'm just beginning with all that.
Well, Serbia is a tough place when it comes to like the gender roles of like what men's supposed to do versus what women's supposed to do. Do you ever get questioned that you are a man who crochets?
People are surprised with that mostly. I'm carrying. I have my trusted toolbox behind me. I carry everything with myself. I crochet in public places. When people see me on beach, for example, like I see them sitting crocheting, they are surprised. They're surprised. When yes, that is something that men are not supposed to do, but something that is not for men. Uh, and they are mostly surprised. When we first started Instagram account, my wife, no, I'm sorry. When I first started crocheting, so after some month or two, my wife asked me, "Will we tell others what I'm doing?" And I said to her, "Why not? I'm not ashamed of something I'm doing. There is no shame in me crocheting. So there is no shame. They, and people are just surprised, women, of course, are surprised how good I am at crocheting.
Right. Do you try to teach, when you teach kids at school how to crochet, are there any boys in your group?
I have one boy, yes. I have one boy, but he's a slow learner for the moment. Uh, he's still learning how to make a chain, for example, and it's slow process. But I
Right.
have one boy.
Do you think it's possible for you to like do online classes for that, for crochet, for kids or for
And
adults? And is that something you're thinking about?
no, I wasn't thinking about that. Never, because it is something hard for me. It is something hard to do. I'm not at the moment. I'm not confident enough to do something like that. I think I'm not confident enough to learn something, especially online, to learn somebody how to crochet.
Right.
Maybe
So
one
like
day,
you are a
but
teacher. You're a teacher, it's probably would be
I'm a teacher. I teach Serbian language and literature in school. That is also hard for kids to learn because kids nowadays don't have concentration, for example. They can't sit in one place for a long time. Those kids I teach uh, crocheting, for example, don't have coordination. It's very bad coordination. Coordination. I'm sorry. So it's no. At the moment I wouldn't do that.
Do you think it's something that like because when I was growing up, or I know like in a lot of places, like in the Scandinavian countries, for example, they used to teach crafts at school. It was part of the curriculum. Do you
Mm.
think it should come back to schools?
I think it should. I think it should, because knitting, crocheting, and whatever you do with your hands help us with concentration, for example, and the coordination. So I think it should be back in school.
If somebody thinking about getting into the world of crochet from amigurumi, what would be your advice? Like where should they start and what mistakes that you made they could avoid?
My mistake was probably that I started crocheting with small hook, and that it was very hard for me because it is small.
Right.
I don't think that you should crochet scarves or hats or something like that first. You can crochet, but there is a thing that you most crocheters are crocheting basic stuff. Uh, it's something that looks like I don't want or I don't have to improve myself. And I think that it is a big mistake. That you constantly do something that you are used to, and don't want to learn anything new.
Right. I'm actually, ironically enough, started this new series called How the Secrets of Becoming a Better Knitter because I'm mostly knit. But
I saw some of the videos.
I'm actually tempted to do the same thing for crocheting because a lot of people who crochet and who watch my channel ask me to like consider doing similar series for crochet. And I think it would be very interesting to see
Well,
like,
for example, I like to think about my toys. There are some kinds of projects, for example, and they are basically upper intermediate or advanced level. There
right.
are not many people that will sit and do something like that.
Well, the thing is like, if you think about it, right, you're only doing it for 2 years. And here you are not only crocheting those toys, but designing those toys. So if that's not influential and if that's not motivation for other people to give it a try, I don't know what is, you know? because if you can do it coming from like no crochet background, jumping head first, you know, and learning all these skills, I find it like very inspiring.
Thank you.
So what's on your hook at the moment, and what are your plans for 2023?
At the moment, when I finished the dragon, I finished, I think, two toys, and I'm working on three more toys. I almost finished this little toy.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's a mascot from some quiz. I'm working on this will be, I think, 5-in-1 toy. Preview sneak preview. This will be 5-in-1, and I'm working on some rabbit for Easter, for example.
Right.
So
Well,
I
when you think about construction of those toys, are you always trying some new ways of attaching them, or
I'm
making them
constantly
pretty?
I'm constantly trying to find something new. As I said before, I'm constantly trying to challenge myself. If I can make something better, if I can, in some kind, I'm trying to find some ways to perfect my craft, for example, uh, to do something I didn't do before. There are some simple toys that I made because my wife gave me. Uh, she told me, "Okay, I want you to make me heart keychain. Okay, I want you to make me. I don't know." She said to me, "I want to make me some unicorn, for example." I didn't publish this yet. I haven't published something like that. There are some. I have some simpler toys, but my toys are a little bit challenging. There are always some kind of fingers or turning heads, or, for example, attaching something or something like that.
Well, there are different sizes of amigurumi. You have some artists that make bigger than life size toys, and then you have people who make
Micros.
like miniatures. And I actually follow one artist who makes some like miniature little people from like all over the world. She makes like people dressed in Mexican dresses and like whatever, like all these things, and it's really mind-blowing to
Yeah.
watch it. What's easier for a person? Like what's easier for you? Like, do you prefer
I,
making
I,
bigger or smaller toys?
I don't know. It's probably the thing what works for you, for example. Um, because I wanted to make, for example, at Gorilla, I wanted to make those joys turn, and I couldn't make it smaller. I couldn't make small rounds. I could use uh, thinner yarn or thinner hook, uh, but the numbers of rounds would be the same.
Right.
So if you take chunkier yarn, my gorilla would be 2 meters, for example.
I mean, do you have like any ambition of making something huge?
Yes, I started. I have at the moment. I have two ideas how to make dragons, and I started making one dragon. I have his foot somewhere here. This is the foot, so it will be a little bigger toy.
Right. Do you think like if you didn't have to worry about like making a living in this industry, is there like one particular project that you would love to spend your time on and create, just purely from artistic view?
I don't know. I love I love making toys. Love making. I love that process of making. So I didn't find anything that I will particularly love. I had spent, for example, my second toy third toy that I made was I wanted to make doll-based body, because I wanted to have my own doll-based body for some other projects. And that, I think it is, I'm most proud of this project. And I think it was the hardest project I made so far, because I had to shape it. I had to uh, be careful of symmetry, of proportion, of, I don't know. And it took me 2 months to finish. When I finished it, I couldn't do anymore. This was seventh attempt. It was something that I was proud of, and I just couldn't. I just had to leave it that way. So it is waiting better times.
Well, before you found crochet for yourself, right? If you meet somebody, you would say, I'm a teacher. Do you see yourself as a designer nowadays?
That's the thing. I'm still afraid to say for myself that I'm a designer, that I'm a creator. I was maker for half year, for a year. You see, I'm still maker. I'm just making my toys. I don't make any other toys because I don't have time to make any other toy. Uh, I was afraid because how can I call myself a designer or a creator? Uh, because I don't feel like one. But I had there was a moment where I had to label myself in some way so that people can see me in that way. I wasn't just maker anymore. Yeah, and I had to say the people, okay, from now on I'm a designer.
Are you comfortable with that title now?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, but other people see me that way now. When I see my toys, because more and more people now see my toys, uh, I think that they see me that way. And
Well,
they,
I definitely see you that way. So that's,
thank you.
if
Thank you
that
very
gives you any vote of confidence,
much.
you're a
No,
designer.
it is hard. It is hard because it is something that I was thinking about. That am I artist? Okay, uh, uh, amigurumi is a form of art. Making toys is a form of art. Am I a crafter or am I an artist? Is my because I don't want to put to shame those people that are real artists. That kind of thinking was in my head.
You're a real artist.
No, thank you.
Do you ever get moments when you have creative block, when you don't know what to make next?
No. Uh, Again, I'm just at the beginning of everything. What I do, I said I created so far, I think 22, 23 toys. Some are big, some are small, some are, I don't know, whatever it came to my mind. Because when I'm creating something, while I was creating the dragon, I had in my that two ideas pop in my mind. Okay, I can do this way, dragon. Okay, I can do a dragon like that. So at the moment, and I have some more ideas how to create more fantastic creatures. For example, I want to create a few more cactuses. That was commissioned from my wife to create cactus, for example.
Mm.
But I want that cactus to be a bit different because, and then I thought, how do I can create something like that? And I created pot in which you can put your cactus and change. Okay, this cactus is burning. Okay, I will put another one. And I want to create a series of cactuses that you can put in my pot, for example. I want to make mushrooms. I did. I have a few more ideas about New Year's Eve. I want to make full series, for example, I have one idea to make full series summer and winter animals.
Right.
That will be the same line, similar line of how to explain it.
Right, like similar idea, but different
Yes,
look.
similar idea, full line of winter and summer toys, summer animals.
Is it your ambition to have an exhibit someday?
I would love that. We were talking. I would there are some things that would I love to do in 2023. For example, not maybe not exhibition, but I would love for some of my designs to I could see in some book, for example, or to be in some crochet longs as a designer or something like that. That would be my something I'm hoping in next year.
Well, I can't wait to see what else you're gonna create, and I'm gonna watch that journey, and I'm sure you're gonna impress all of us in the future as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Ljubomir, for being a guest of my channel. It was a pleasure to get to know you.
Thank you for having me.